I'm Dr. Muso. Today we want to talk about Napoleon's foreign policy. We want to talk about what Napoleon did in his foreign policies from 1800 up to 1814. So we are going to look on number one. We are going to look on Austria versus France in 1800. So in 1800, Austria declared war against France at the Battle of Marengo. She declared war against France at the Battle of Marengo. And on this battle, we discover that Austria was defeated. Again, Austria, when she was defeated, she reorganized. She declared war against France once again in December, and in that battle again Austria was defeated. So the defeat of Austria in 1800 in June and also in December led France to force Austria to sign the Treaty of Lunéville. She forced Austria to sign the Treaty of Lunéville. So when this took place now, number two, we talk about 1802. In 1802, we see that France and Britain, they signed a treaty which was called the Treaty of Amiens. Here, Napoleon, he wanted to consolidate his position in France. He wanted to focus on his domestic policies. So he had to sign this treaty with Britain so that he could be in good books with Britain while focusing on what was taking place in France. Then when he did that now, we see that in 1804, he was in a position of consolidating himself in France. He became emperor for life in France. When he became emperor for life, 1805. In 1805, we see that France versus Britain. France declared war against Britain at the Battle of Trafalgar. She declared war against France at the Battle of Trafalgar. But unfortunately, Britain had a strong navy. Britain also on the ground, she was so strong, and by so doing, France was defeated at the Battle of Trafalgar. So when France was defeated at this Battle of Trafalgar, Austria and Russia thought that Napoleon had been weakened by this defeat. So number four, we talk about 1805, 1806. We now talk about Austria and Russia. Austria and Russia versus what of France. They declared war against France at the Battle of Mons and the Battle of Arms. But unfortunately, Austria and Russia, they were defeated. When they were defeated, now Napoleon forced these two countries to sign a treaty which was called the Treaty of Austerlitz, which was called the Treaty of Austerlitz. So this is what took place on this battle between Austria, Russia, and France in 1805, 1806. So when this took place now, number five, Napoleon now, he had to take areas along the Rhine. Those areas formed the Confederation of German states. So when we took those areas now, we now talk about Russia versus France. Russia had to ask France, why are you doing that? Why are you taking my areas? I can rover you, I can beat you now. You see now, Russia declared war against France in our 1806. So we are talking about 1806 at the Battle of Pressburg. At the Battle of Pressburg. But now, Russia was defeated at the Battle of Pressburg, and she was forced to sign the Treaty of Vienna. So Napoleon was now dominant in Europe. She was now controlling Russia. She was now controlling Austria. She was now controlling Russia. So Napoleon was now a dominant force in what was taking place in Europe. So as that was taking place now, we see number six now in 1807. Napoleon is to introduce what was known as the Berlin Decree. The Berlin Decree, which specified, which said any country that he controlled, any country that he dominated, was not supposed to trade with Britain. He wanted to suffocate Britain economically. He wanted to make sure that countries were not going to get goods from Britain. By not getting goods from Britain, the industries in Britain were going to crumble, leading to unemployment, leading to what serious problems, economic problems in Britain. But Britain, what did Britain do? She also passed a counter of the Berlin Decree. She passed what was known as the Orders in Council. The Orders in a Council, which was saying that if you follow NAPO, it means that don't trade with me again in the near future. So by so doing now, it clearly shows that the continental system was not going to be all that successful. So there are some lessons that we can learn from the first part of Napoleon's foreign policies. We are seeing that Napoleon used different methods to dominate Europe. Which methods did he use? He had to use wars. Here we saw a war, and here we saw a war. Here we are seeing a war. Here we are seeing a war. Here we are seeing again a method that is using number 2, which is called continental system. Method number 3, signing of treaties. You are forcing those countries that he defeated to sign what treaties. Another method that we are seeing here, he is using the method of making these countries that he defeated to pay reparations or to pay a tribute. It is another method that he is using. So these are the methods that Napoleon used on his first part in his foreign policies. Let's move on and talk about 1809. We talk about the Peninsula War. On the Peninsula War, we see that Napoleon now, he was challenged by Portugal. Napoleon, I'm not going to follow your continental system. That is Portugal. What are you saying, Portugal? You have heard me. I'm not going to follow your continental system. So what did Napoleon do? He had to attack Portugal. But for Napoleon to go to Portugal, he was supposed to pass through Spain. So Spain now, we see that it was surrounded with water. Spain now, we see that there was the Atlantic Sea, there was the Mediterranean Sea, then we've got Spain, then Portugal. So France to go to Portugal, so we are talking about France here. France was supposed to pass through Spain so that she could go to Portugal. Then here we've got water, the Atlantic Sea. Then here now we've got the Mediterranean Sea. So this is the peninsula that we are talking about, an area surrounded with water. So when Napo arrived in Spain, the people in Spain, they were like, Why were they doing that? It is because they no longer wanted their leader, Ferdinand the Second. They no longer wanted to be ruled by Ferdinand. He was now old. According to some scholars, he had been given a nickname called the Old Spider. So people no longer wanted a Ferdi to become the next leader or to become their leader. They wanted his son, Charles IV, to succeed him. So what is the problem? The people in Spain, we no longer want Ferdi. We want him to be succeeded by Charles IV. Only that, yes, don't worry. Napoleon went to Ferdi and he forced Ferdinand to resign. So when he forced Ferdinand to resign, he had to impose a leader in Spain in the name of his brother Jose Bonaparte. My comrades are all. I've removed Ferdinand. The people in Spain started to celebrate. Thank you, Napo Mudara, Napo. Yeah, I haven't finished speaking. I want to tell you that from today, my brother Jose is now the leader of Spain. We don't want this out. You and Napoleon. What are you saying? I'm going to kick you, kick on. So we see Napoleon now starting fighting with the people in Spain. Unfortunately, Napoleon was defeated in Spain. When he was defeated in Spain, it led those countries that he defeated previously now to challenge Napoleon. So we now come here, number 8, we now talk about Austria re-enters war. Austria re-enters war in 1809. So the Spanish Alps, it led Napoleon to face problems. Why? Renewal of wars. So Austria in 1809, you could say that Napoleon, I can beat you. So Austria now declared war against Napoleon at the Battle of Aspen in 1809. And what happened? Napoleon was defeated. And the Austrians were happy. We have defeated Napoleon. We have defeated Napoleon. But Napoleon withdrew from the war, reorganized at the Battle of Wagram. He attacked Austria. And Austria at the Battle of Wagram, she was defeated. So Napoleon now continued his dominance in Austria. He went on to marry Marie-Louise. Louise from Austria. So another method that was used by Napoleon, it was the method of what? Marriage. Then we also want to talk about number 9. Number 9, we talk about the Moscow campaign. The Moscow campaign. On the Moscow campaign now of 1812, we see that Russia had to say, Napoleon, I'm not going to continue with your continental system. What are you saying, Russia? You heard me, I'm not going to continue with your continental system. So Napoleon on the Moscow campaign attacked Austria. When he arrived in Moscow, Moscow was the capital city of Russia. The city was deserted. As it was deserted, Napoleon continued pursuing the Russians. But as he was doing that now, time was moving fast in the sense that winter was fast approaching. So soldiers died because of winter. The roads that they were using now, we see that they were used as traps. So as they were moving, bullet, soldiers died. Bridges again, they were used as traps. So as they were moving now, we see that soldiers also died. We talk about roads again. Then as they were doing that now, we also see that some soldiers, they deserted. Desertion. Some soldiers deserted. They returned to their own countries. So that affected Napoleon. So by the time he reached the Russians now, he had faced so many severe challenges, and France was defeated. It became easy for Russia to defeat Napoleon. So Napoleon, as he was defeated now, we see that Prussia and Austria, they joined in forming the third coalition. They joined in forming the third coalition. So when they joined forming the third coalition at Borodino, Napoleon, he faced again so many losses. A number of his soldiers died at Borodino. Then Britain again joined in forming the fourth coalition. Forming a fourth coalition. And when Britain formed the fourth coalition, Napoleon faced again so many severe losses. A number of his soldiers died. So when he was seeing that he was being defeated, he fled the country. And the Allied powers started to celebrate. But after 100 days, Napoleon declared war against the Allied powers. And again, he was defeated. He fled the country. He went to St. Helena, where he eventually died. So we see now we no longer have the Napoleonic era. It marked the end of the Napoleonic era. But however, we've got other factors that led to the downfall of Napoleon. Which are these factors? Number 1, he was now too-faced. He was no longer as energetic as he was when he came to power in 1799. Another one was that the empire was too vast. His kingdom was too vast. The vastness of the empire again contributed to his downfall. Another one was that people were sick and tired of continuous wars. Wars were always taking place, so people were tired of these continuous wars. Another one was that his old generals, those experienced generals, they were killed in these wars. So he was left with these youngsters who were no longer experienced like those old generals. Another one, we talk about the rise of nationalism and liberalism. It also crippled Napoleon to be defeated. Another one, the guerrilla warfare, the scourge aid policy that was now used by the third coalition, by the fourth coalition, leading to the downfall of Napoleon. Another one, his methods of fighting, they were now known by his enemies. So that on its own, it contributed him to be defeated. So these are some of the factors on the other side that you can talk about that led to the downfall of Napoleon. So that is what we have on Napoleon's foreign policy. It's adoptable, so